It's always good to create a redundancy to reduce redundancy in the federal government. And then that redundancy reducing agency ends up creating more redundant policies. Okay? This is a normal and good thing. Musk says federal workers will get another chance to report productivity or be terminated.
Great. Elon Musk is giving some federal workers the boot and others a second chance to respond to his email. Yeah, I just ad-libbed that. As he continues asking for details of what they accomplished over the last week.
Madeline Rivera joins us live from Washington with the latest. Good morning, Matt.
Hey, Maddie.
Hi, guys. Good morning. Yeah, there's a lot of confusion regarding this directive. Elon Musk says while there is a second chance to respond, failure to answer again will result in termination this time. But the Office of Personnel Management says agencies will be the ones to review responses and evaluate non-responses. They look into whether employees were on excused leave yesterday or whether they had access to their email over the weekend. The OPM also says agency heads can exclude some workers from this expectation at their discretion, given that they provide reasons for exclusions. And finally, the OPM says it is up to the agency's leadership to determine what actions are taken. Some agencies, like the FBI and the Department of Defense, for instance, have told employees not to respond to the OPM email, saying they'll be doing their own reviews. But others, like the Transportation Secretary, saying that their department is going to be following this directive from Musk. But President Trump says the different orders don't necessarily mean a division between the Trump administration.
Incredible levels of cuckoldry, by the way. Incredible levels of cuckoldry to be like, no, yeah, report to Elon Musk, please. What the fuck does he know about transportation, man? Are you stupid? There's tens of thousands of employees that work in in so many different departments. Like, how is Elon Musk going to parse through who's actually doing their jobs? It wasn't even a directive to report to your managers, by the way. It was a directive to report to him. The fuck does he know about transportation?
And Musk, and he's defending
$5,000 checks to taxpayers feels pretty social. Is there any reason we should feel bad about getting a refund on our taxes? Not like with how our government currently is. If your ass got taxed 80%, we see potholes get filled or homelessness go down. But when Xi comes to San Fran's, those homeless get housed? What? You cannot be a 17-month subscriber and unironically believe that like Doge actually ripped through the federal expenditures and is going to give you a $5,000 check back from the government. Oh my God. You think that's real? What the fuck is going on with the level of education in this in this community? Holy shit. That's what's getting pitched? Chatter, serious question for you. If you don't trust when the Democrats are in charge and are understandably critical of the lies that they tell, why in the ever-loving fuck would you ever turn around and believe a single damn thing that the Republican administration has told you when I spend every day of the week explaining to you that they're lying? Why would you believe them? What good is a $5,000 check for every citizen if the whole point was to save that wasted money? No, this is the thing I get very frustrated by, because I see a lot of people fall into this trap. Yeah, it's a lot of hope that Trump's ego will make it happen. I mean, it's kind of hard for me to not. It's kind of hard for me to maintain revolutionary optimism, don't you think? Cinemarxism in the chat when you were talking about how, you have to have revolutionary optimism. You have to maintain that. I hope you're trolling, chatter. Trump got his unemployment plus, bam, made more money on the dole than actually working. Dog, that was during COVID. Do you think Trump did that because of his ego? Or do you think even the Republicans recognize that America's primary directive is the consumption engine of the entire planet, and in order not to collapse the global marketplace, that they had to give people money? Also, the dole, you're fucking not American, okay? I've never heard an American call unemployment dole. Get the fuck out of here, Australian chatter, who's like 8 fucking Fosters deep right now, LARPing as an American MAGA supporter. Trump got us unemployment plus, bam, made more money on the dole than actually working. You've called me, I've been on fucking 8 VB long necks. It could be, he could be British as well. I think his ego made that 600 bones. Pelosi tried to pitch up to 2K. Even AOC was on board, remember? No, I don't. You need to answer me right now. Why did you call it the dole? You are not a fucking American. Pretty sure if Trump and Elon free up 1.5 trillion, they ain't giving 5K a piece to the plebs. Yeah, it's going directly to every wealthy American. Okay. One of the funniest aspects also is that like you think when you've destroyed government services that 5K is going to make a ginormous difference. Okay, enjoy the $5,000 you can spend on poisonous meat, okay? As the potholes get even worse and there is no more public school, the Department of Education is abolished. So now you have to send your son or daughter to private school. And of course, considering that those private school networks are the only schooling that makes sense, I'm sure there will be an insurance structure because now you have to actually be able to pay for schooling as well. So now you have a an insurance style scheme so that you can send your son or daughter to private school. Private school costs skyrocket. Okay, good luck. $250,000 for 4 years of private education from 9th grade, from 8th grade onward. Bro, look at the kids with our DOE now. Are you seeing the results that make you happy about the DOE currently? What?
Musk's order. Listen here.
So what they're doing is they're trying to find out who's working for the government. Are we paying other people that aren't working? And, where's all that? Where's the money gone? There was a lot of genius in sending it. We're trying to find out if people are working. And so we're sending a letter to people. Please tell us what you did last week. If people don't respond, it's very possible that there is no such person or they're not working.
There appears to be no deadline set for a second response. We'll see if we get more clarity later today. Lauren, Steve, Ainsley, and Brian.
See, that last word, clarity.
Yeah.
There hasn't been a lot of that. Madeline, so for the federal employees who are watching right now, what are they supposed to do?
We'll see. We'll see later on today if we get more answers from the White House, from the president. Look, if you listen to the OPM email, what they'll say is that they're not taking a one-size-fits-all approach to this. The administration says they'll take into account the differences among the different agencies. They'll work with the different agencies, and they're taking into things like confidentiality reasons, for example, which President Trump says was the reason, for example, that the FBI and the DOD, why they might not be responding to this email right now. So they'll take those factors into account. The White House is downplaying the notion that there is a division between the OPM and Musk here. They say at the end of the day, the administration is working together to create more efficiency among federal workers. But again, like you said, Steve, there is no doubt that there are a lot of federal workers who are confused by this, and they are hoping to get more answers later on today.
All right, Madeline. Thank you very much.
Well, Elon posted, he said the email request was utterly trivial, as the standard for passing the test was to type some words and press send. Yet so many failed even that inane test, urged on in some cases by their managers. Have you ever witnessed such incompetence and contempt for how your taxes are being spent? Makes old Twitter look good. Didn't think that was possible. The problem is the federal workers are getting these mixed messages, and it seems to be a turf war by some of the agency leaders, the new agency leaders, and Elon Musk. Now, Donald Trump said yesterday, look, all we're trying to do is make sure these people are actually working, that there are actual people, like the Social Security sending out checks to people that are 140 years old. Well, that doesn't exist. So they're just making sure that these positions are filled by live bodies. And so we're not sending money to people, paychecks to people who don't exist. But the problem is you have Office of Personnel Management. They're saying it's voluntary. You won't be fired if you don't respond. You have Kash Patel with the FBI saying pause responses. We're in charge of employee reviews. And then you have Kristi Noem with Department of Homeland Security saying don't respond. So what
do you know what else makes old Twitter look good? Current Twitter. This is true. It's so funny that Elon Musk is so hands-on with this administration because I directly used that example of like what happens as an analog. I used to use old Twitter versus new Twitter as like what happens when Republicans are in charge versus what happens when Democrats are in charge. Both are incompetent, but one is like clearly worse than the other. And now Elon Musk is literally doing that to the fucking administrative state. So that analogy turned into reality. Crazy stuff.
are you supposed to do?
Right, exactly. So who's running the show?
Well, the president gave them some cover yesterday as well. Remember, a lot of these same agencies, whether you're talking about the Defense Department.
Genocide Joe 100 times worse than Trump. Yeah, Trump famously definitely not on board with endless genocide. You're right. Like, I hate Genocide Joe, but you don't have to fucking lie about Donald Trump. You don't have to say that Donald Trump is better. He ended 2 wars. Respect. You're right. You're right. You're right. You're right. My bad. My bad, bro. You're right. I forgot. Yeah, remember yesterday or the week prior when Donald Trump was saying we should just do a peaceful ethnic displacement in Gaza. It's free real estate. That was incredible. That was the most peaceful any war ending president has ever been. Sorry you got cooked like that. I know he fucked me up, dude. He did. Put some respect on it. Donald Trump said, no more war. There is no more war if we kill everyone. If we forcibly displace everyone, then there won't be war anymore. He said final solution means no more war.
As well as transportation as well, have invited Doge into their department. Right. So they're not anti-Doge. What they're saying is the information that's going out, there's some security measures that need to put in place for that. So
also, while we're having this conversation, Israel's talking about 40,000 displaced in the West Bank. You know, tanks are rolling through the streets in occupied Palestinian territory, mind you.
They want to coordinate the response to this.
So, so there's a lot of people who are going to be let go in a lot of different agencies. I know the transportation has let some people go. Now the VA, Doug Collins, has dismissed more than 1,400 employees with non-mission critical positions. Others in transportation were let go who did not have safety implications day to day. And that's what's happening, too. Just about everywhere, if you're probationary, they're looking to let you go. And I think the overarching headline is we have to cut the federal workload. It's 2.7 million. It's got to get less. The question is now, that was a speech the president gave at CPAC. The president, Elon Musk, saw it and said, I hear you, Mr. President. I put up this email. And the president said yesterday, I like the idea of an email, but I just think next time, very easy. A lot of these people are Elon Musk's personal friends. Hey, I'm going to send out an email, and it's going to go to all the divisions. Are you okay with this?
Right.
Because Kash Patel was only on the job 2 days. He can't have FBI agents who maybe miscommunicated being accessed. Same with Tulsi Gabbard. She's like, I really can't do this, so I'm going to back out. It doesn't mean they're fighting. It just means they just make a little bit more of an effort to coordinate.
Well, and that's the key.
Growth pains, baby steps. They're not fighting. It's fine. Come on.
I think a lot of it with the State Department and the FBI and the national security apparatus is they don't want their boss, they don't want somebody at a laptop somewhere putting out, okay, these are the 5 classified things I did last week. Because there was an email that went out yesterday from...
I love the way that I love this is the sickest way to, you're right. Very cool way to run the federal government. It's just like, fuck it. We'll figure it out later.
HSS, Health and Human Services, an email to the staff and said, if you reply, assume that what you write will be read by malign foreign actors, so tailor your responses accordingly. What's curious, though, I don't know if you guys saw...
Some clarity by Trump. It's voluntary, but if you don't answer, I guess you get fired.
Hopefully once and for all what your expectations are with this email to federal employees.
No, you see, you don't understand. You get semi-fired.
What do you...
Oh, you wanted clarity? You get semi-fired if you don't answer the email.
What are you going to use that information for? And do you see it as voluntary, like OPM has said, or mandatory?
Yeah, well, it's somewhat voluntary, but it's also if you don't answer, I guess you get fired.
Thank you for the clarity, Mr. President. This really clears things up for everyone.
What it really is do people
I'm still
exist?
lost on that.
We have this massive government with millions of people, and nobody knows who's working for the government, who's not. So what they're doing is they're sending out a letter to everybody, and they're saying, what were the things you did last week? I guess they ask for 5. And if people are working, it's easy. I could tell you 5 things I did last week. I could tell you 5 things I did 6 weeks ago, right?
President, can you clarify?
You're fired.
Or not, but there was a hearing yesterday regarding Doge access to Treasury records. And the government attorney representing the White House was asked by the judge, so who exactly is running Doge? Who is the administrator? And the attorney for the federal government said, I don't exactly know. I don't have that answer. So it's kind of like, what is the flow chart for the person who's running Doge? Elon Musk has been described as an advisor to the president.
Well, I think it's a flat organization. This is not an organ, and I think Washington.
What is this? So if I'm reading this correctly, the White House, controlled by Trump, and State Department, controlled by Rubio, approved these aid payments. Then some nerds hired by Elon kept stopping them. So basically, they created an entire new deep state. It's great stuff. It's cool. You don't understand. This is a good thing. It's always good to create a redundancy to reduce redundancy in the federal government, and then that redundancy reducing agency ends up creating more redundant policies. Okay, this is a normal and good thing.
Is so used to this org chart with this person. Essentially, you have all these people that are across agencies reporting back to Elon Musk, who then goes back to the president and he makes the final decision on it. I just want them to be able to do their job. It looks like they're doing a great job. There's some bumps in the road. The last thing I would say this, because I've been getting a lot of emails from federal employees. I understand why some of you guys are feeling the heat and you're being lumped into the basket of all the other federal employees that Americans have distrust for. We're not talking about you. We understand that there are career people that just want to do their job, that love their country. But you have to understand, it is a bipartisan thing. When you look at the latest polling, independents, Democrats, as well as Republicans, all feel like there's some inefficiency in our government.
Sure.
And I apologize that you guys are being lumped in. You want to do your job. But something has to give here, just like in the private sector.
Argentina's doing it, and that's what they did.
Mm-hmm.
And they put, I mean, they had 110% inflation. It was a joke. So this guy came in. That's that leader who gave him the chainsaw. So he's trying to do the same thing. And I just think the more you realize, Musk's agency is the only way to do it. Yeah. Because if you do it through normal committee meetings and oversight, it ends up being a report that nobody does. Yeah. Remember the Erskine Bowles, the Bowles report. Yeah. They looked at government's inefficiency for 18 months. The Simpson Bowles. Right. And they looked at it. It was pretty comprehensive. Yeah. But you know what Barack Obama looked at it and goes, this will never pass. He put it on the back burner. Right. These guys got paid for 18 months. So he's just saying, I need somebody on the outside, doesn't need to be elected, to go in and make some tough decisions.
I think all Elon wants to do is take Brian Kilmeade. Brian would send an email that would say, I did Fox and Friends on Monday, and I did radio on Monday. On Tuesday, I did Fox and Friends. I did radio. Wednesday. Yeah, just 1 week of what you did just to make sure you're a live body and you're a real person. I understand what you're saying. You do feel for the federal workers that are getting lumped in and are worried about losing their jobs. But I think the purpose of this is not necessarily, it's if you respond to the email, it sounds like you have a good chance of surviving at the workplace.
Yeah, but then again, if your advisor says don't do it, that's so complicated.
Yeah.
No amount of cult-like loyalty to Trump and conservative principles is going to cause a Republican federal government employee to watch this piece of coverage and not think, how about you out-of-touch multimillionaires fucking lose your jobs, dickhead? What do you mean? Oh, you're fine. Just write an email and you'll probably be spared. There is no way, dude. There is no shot.
Yeah.
Ultimately, this is going to be tied up in courts for a while. Yeah. And in fact, some of the
thank God. Thank God. It's going to be tied up in the courts anyway, so you won't lose your job in the interim. Oh, great. But I thought the courts were woke and gay for stopping the Trump administration's boulder. What happened? No, the courts are great now because it's stopping us from killing ourselves. Thank God. I have a really cool solution. Are you ready? It's called don't erroneously dismantle the administrative state. How about that? I know. Nope. Sorry. Can't be done. We have to do it. Impossible. We must do it.
People who've brought lawsuits have prevailed, where I saw yesterday a group of employees, probationary employees who were fired last week, got a 45-day stay as they take a look at it. Ultimately, Democrats and others say that it's unconstitutional. You need the power of Congress to close agencies and things like that. But I'll tell you, over the last 5 days, I've been down in Texas, and I talked to a lot of people down there who are not part of the federal government.
Right.
But they've either got a family member or an in-law or a friend, or they know a guy who got that letter.
But y'all, the majority of the country supports the cuttings.
I get that instantly. But if you got the letter, you were just very, very concerned, and you're worried about the future. Who knows whether or not those people will be let go?
Well, the Consumer Bureau, they was put out there by Elizabeth Warren. Yeah. The whole division was cut. Oh, that's been controversy when Trump was in the first time. Yeah, from the very beginning. So Elizabeth Warren is not happy with that, and she's having all these meetings about all the vitriol is flying about what how the Musk people don't know what they're doing. They're just cutting out. They're just trying to get tax cuts for billionaires. Brett Cooper was on, I think, with you.
Yes.
Yesterday.
So she has tons of more than.
I like that they can never actually say what the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau does. So they constantly have to present it as like, well, Elizabeth Warren likes it and you hate her, right? So think about how good it is that we cut it. This is probably, to a certain degree, unfortunately, successful propaganda.